Hello, it is YouTube live time. I am looking forward to seeing a few people log in and working on their pre-orders. Today's conversation is going to be on pre-orders and more information about it. But if you're just joining us, go ahead and say hi, hello, so that I know I'm not speaking into the void, which is like, of course, everyone's worst nightmare, right? Um, Nobody wants to throw the party and no one shows up. So please let me know that you're there, and we'll dive into the content pretty soon. Some of you may be wondering what even is a pre-order, and I do have content that we are going to be talking about for that as well. Um, and oh, thank you for letting me know that you can hear me perfectly. Um, if you are, um, if you're just joining us, go ahead and tell us where you are at. Oh, happy Tuesday to you. I am very happy to be almost done with Tuesday. We have been flying through today. Um, Go ahead and tell you. Oh, we've got some international. We've got a Canada entry, and we've got Dublin, California, which that's kind of my neighborhood. I was excited for a moment. It was Dublin, Ireland, but thank you. Um, and let's see. We'll wait a minute or two more for a few more people to say hi. So we are going to be talking about pre-orders today, and we are going to be talking about why everyone needs a pre-order. There have been some people recently in the industry saying, like, you don't need a pre-order, and it like makes my head explode. Like, oh my God, of course you do. You have so many reasons that you need a pre-order. So we're going to go over like my top ones. I could actually keep going, but I didn't want to spend all afternoon talking about pre-orders and boring people. So I've kept it to like 5 or 6 slides, but I get passionate about this. Like I'm kind of ridiculous, just so you know. Ooh, we have someone in the UK, someone in Miami, Tallahassee, Florida. Very good. So, I do see we have a few people who are lurking. If you feel like participating, we do give prizes. And if you say hello, you are going to be entered into the first prize. So, please go ahead, say hi, drop where you are, and I believe that we are giving out some new swag. Angela will be able to tell us for sure or not what kind of swag we are giving out if she wants to drop it in. And it looks like someone already has the Oh So Soft journal and has filled it a quarter of the way already. Fantastic. I have been using mine for my morning pages recently. I do love the artist way. Um, and I believe we are going to go ahead and give a prize out. Let's say, I don't think we've had enough to do like the day of the day of the month. So we can't do like the 21st. But let's do like the fifth person to say hello or put in what their ad what their not their address. We don't want any with street address, but where they're located. Either one. Fifth new comment. Don't count yourself, Angela. I know that you want the swag too, but it looks like we are giving out the No Boring Books, no Boring Books mug, Oh So Soft journal, Self Publish and Succeed the book, and we do have some limited T-shirt sizes. I did have the very soft T-shirt prize. Um, I was wearing one this weekend. They are super comfy for running around the house in. Ooh, and we have our first winner. Uh, I think it's Marquisa. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. But whether I pronounced it wrong or right, you are the winner. Ding, ding, ding. And let's go ahead and have you send an email to team@booklaunchers.com. Let us know which of the prizes you're interested in and what your address is to mail it. And the fabulous Angela will be the one to respond. Um, okay, now I need to figure out how to stream my presentation. So, share screen. That seems about right. Oh, I got it right. As one Jacqueline who has to pronounce it and spell it all the time, I know your pain. Sometimes our parents are kind of cruel to us. So, um, here we go. We are going to dive into pre-orders, what they are, why we need them, and what you do during that pre-order period. A little bit, just the broad strokes, so that we aren't here all night. And here we go. We're diving in. Ooh, new screen. It wants to. Mm, nope, not that. Okay, here we go. All right. The how and why of book pre-order. And we're going to go over the quick agenda of why do I need a pre-order? How do I set one up? After you submit your listing, what happens next? And what do I do while I wait? So, what is a pre order? That is when your book is available at retailers to purchase before the book is actually released. Ideally, if you're just doing it for production value and a little bit of ramp up marketing wise, you're looking for a 6 to 8 week window where your pre order is going. Now, if you, for some reason, have a lot of marketing that you intend to do, or if you are someone with very little time but want to work on pieces weekly, a longer pre order will work for you. But if you have a good amount of time to dedicate to your launch, uh, on like a daily or weekly basis, a 6 to 8 week window is probably going to serve what you need. And then the whole idea is that when your book is published, we're not waiting for anything. It is go from the moment your book is out in the world and it is launched. So, benefits of a pre order. Now, without doing a pre order, what can happen is that you submit your book to Amazon on KDP. And then it'll take 12 to 72 hours for it to go live. And then you submit your paperback, but it also will take 12 to 72 hours. And sometimes that print file is going to get kicked back, like your bleed is wrong or the cover file is the wrong size. And you're finding out at the same time that you are trying to release your book, that you are saying, like, I want my book I want to shout from the rooftops that my book is out into the world. I and now I'm stuck in like this holding pattern. And everything that I had planned in my launch party is now failed. And I had these ads that say today is launch day, and they were already going out and it has stalled. So, the benefits of the pre order first is that you have time for your listings to create and for all of the bad things being ironed out, like, file issues, you know, anything that can cause your book to hang up. And there are so many reasons. I have found a lot of them firsthand, and I don't think I have reached the full capacity of them yet. And then we've got the distribution breadth. There's the time for the listings to generate is not only just fixing file issues, but that if you've got your ebook and your print book generating, that they are connecting worldwide. So on Barnes Noble, your print book and your ebook are both there. Amazon, same thing. Um, and so when they are coming from different places, distribution wise, they can take some time to catch up and find each other. And then Amazon, picks up their stuff usually within 72 hours, but Barnes and Noble takes a week. Bookshop can take 2 to 3 weeks. Chapters can take like 8 weeks. So if you want to be promoting your book and telling people, oh, my book is out everywhere today, you need that pre order time period for your book to actually be available anywhere that someone wants to buy it. Now, benefit number two, you also can review your physical copy. You can order it before it's available to the public, have it shipped to your home. Somehow, somehow, When you read a book slowly in your home, you catch typos that no one else caught when it was in Word, when it was in layout. Like you thought you had caught everything, and suddenly on page 12, it was supposed to be we and it says be instead. No spell check would ever catch it. You have to read it to catch it. And somehow sitting down on your comfy couch, that's when they come swimming back to the surface and you can see them. So that gives you a chance to fix them in both your ebook and your print book before anyone in the world sees them. And then this one is kind of nerdy. Maximizing your time in the number one new release subcategory. So when I was saying like you release your book and it takes 72 hours to show up, and then your print book has a physical like file issue and you have to sort that out and resubmit it and it goes through a quality control process and it's like goes live a week later, that's all eating into that new release subcategory, which is only available for 30 days. So let's say that you're in Christian living in inspirational as a subcategory. There's a subcategory from there that is books that have been released in the last 30 days that are trending. So when you're in the top 3, you also have an ad of like what is hot and new in the main category as well. So you want as much time as possible to be the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in the new release category of your popular category that you're already in, because people do browse like the top 100 list and your picture of your book is going to be in there for people to click on and go, oh, I want to learn more about that one. Now, that's all logistic stuff. That's like the nerd stuff that I do 24/7. And then there's the marketing side. And the marketing side is like shiny object syndrome, where if you wanted to promote your book, marketers are looking for things to talk about that aren't yet available to the public. They want to be on the cutting edge of the next new thing. So, if you are able to pitch the book before it is available and to land like interviews and such so that they can come out around the same time as the book, it makes the person doing the marketing look like they are right on top of what the trends are and what is new and interesting in your field. If you launch it and then go and send it, the the rate isn't quite as high. It has to be a little bit more niched. You've got to have a better pitch rather than this is the new and interesting thing coming out. Um, so it does also take time for interviews to be scheduled, especially if you're doing like a podcast or you're doing magazine. Uh, they aren't instantaneous overnight. So you're like you pitch yourself to a podcaster, they come back and say, okay, let's meet in 2 weeks to do the interview. And then it goes through like a quality control process. It gets slated into their schedule. So the interview might not come out for several weeks to several months, depending on how much backlog a podcast interviewer has and what their plans and how they work are. So it takes some time. You need to give these people some time to do it because while you are hot to trot and ready to go and like, yes, my book is coming out tomorrow and now I want to promote my book. Can you interview me today and release it tomorrow? They're not going to work like that. And then the next thing that you can do marketing wise, benefits of a pre-order, is that you do have a chance to get a fresh a jump start to get momentum leading into your launch. And then it does teach the algorithm who is interested in your book and who might be the avatar audience for your book. So it'll start testing, especially if you're driving traffic to that page and it's your ideal audience. It'll start saying, like, people who looked at this also looked at this kind of book. And so if you navigate to a similar book, your book will be displayed as like customers who bought this also bought that. So you're teaching the algorithm from the very beginning who your ideal reader is, and you're getting that free advertisement because Amazon ultimately is about selling products. They don't really care what the quality of the product is or who is going to benefit from the book. What they really want to do is just sell more. And so they go, oh, this book here solves this problem, and the people looking to solve this problem also bought this. So we are going to start giving them information about more topics that they should be interested in buying. They just game themselves all the time, how to sell, 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 sell. All right. I feel like I've done a lot of talking, um, but I'm going to go a little bit further, and then we're going to have a prize. So, um, how to set up a pre-order. Now, Amazon, in all of its genius, hasn't figured out this one thing, which is how to do a print pre-order. They have the capability for Amazon for a Kindle book, an ebook, to do a pre-order, but they haven't done it for paperbacks. And so when you are ready to start your pre-order, you need to have your print files ready, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But you load any of your print books, so paperback, hardcover, print books, go into IngramSpark. You load the exact same information like uh, title, subtitle, your your name, all of that exact same into Amazon. And then the two listings find each other and progress forward together and connect, which is great. So we're going to dive in a little bit more on the things to know about these two companies and how their pre-order systems work. So ebooks, Kindle, Amazon, first rule, you can set up a pre-order up to a year in advance, which is great. But you don't want to forget that you did it. You can set up to actually 10. Okay, now I'm going down rabbit holes. Sorry. You can actually set up to 10 books on pre order at the same time. And then as each one comes out, you've got the ability to put one more in. If you are a prolific writer or if you publish a lot of books, good to know. 10 books at a time. You can set up the pre-order. It's on page 1 when you are entering the book details. So it'll ask like the title, the subtitle, the book description, all of the metadata for the keywords and the categories. And then at the very bottom of that page, it'll actually default to, I want to release my book now. And you go, no, 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 no. Release it on this date. And you can put a date up to a year in the future. Now, when you put that in, on the next page, it'll say, do you have a file? Like, do you have a Kindle file that you want to upload? And you can say, no, I don't. And they go, okay, you have X many days plus so many hours to upload a file. And it works out to 72 hours prior to the release date. At that point, if you're in that 72-hour window, the listing is 100% locked. You can't change a keyword. You can't put a new comment into your book description. You cannot touch anything until that 72-hour blockout window is done. Now, on that second page, you also would put in a book cover. An ebook listing, a pre-order listing without a cover is just not going to sell anything. I don't care how great your book description is, without a cover, no one's going to click on it to learn more about your book at all. So you are going to need to have an ebook Kindle cover. And then on the third page, you put in the pricing, whatever the pricing is, and hit submit for pre-order. It's the bottom, the yellow button on the right-hand side. Now, can you tell I do a lot of these? I do a lot of these. Anyway, you can move your publication date forward if you want to release your book early and surprise your audience. Yay, it's out early. Amazon will happily do that for you. You just have to upload the final file and submit it. If you want to move your launch date back by 30 days or back at all, you can only change it once, and it is for a maximum of 30 days. They were making exceptions early in the pandemic, and then they stopped doing that. They are back hard and fast to their rules that it is 30 days. If you blow that, if you forget to upload the right file and there's no file on record at all, they will cancel your pre-order in that 72-hour window. If you cancel the pre-order and go, oh, I'm not ready to release anything, I'm just going to cancel the pre-order, same penalty. You cannot pre-order any any future books for a full year. You're like in the penalty box. Everything's canceled. You can't do anything. Now, another question I get a lot is, what if I want to change my ebook file? That's totally allowed. You can upload the initial ebook file, and then let's say you get the print book and you find a typo, and then you want to go and change the ebook file. Totally fine until you get to that 72-hour window of blackout, and then you can't do anything at all. So those are the rules for Amazon. And I'm going to pause here before we go into IngramSpark and see if there are any questions, because I know I'm going kind of fast, and that might not be fun. So I'm gonna add my face back in, remove that. Let's see. Questions? Have there been questions? Looks like there's lots of talking. I'm kind of just scrolling back. Hi, Efren. Nice to see you. Quizmaster China, you are a frequent flyer. Let's see. Good to see you in here. All right. So Efren asked, how deep into summer can we get before getting into the dangerous time of people being on vacation? Latest time to launch. So you can launch strategically at any time, but what Efren is talking about is when you are going to promote and trying to get podcasters to interview you, often these are people with families whose kids are underfoot and they just take the summer off. So depending, I would say early June is probably the end of the sweet spot. Anything in July is bad. Early August is bad, but by the end of August, the launches are strong again. So July, no go. But I would say you're like when I got out of high school, it was the 13th of June. It was a Friday the 13th, auspicious. But I know a lot of schools get out a little bit earlier than that, so I would be looking maybe that first week of June as being the last good window, and then after that, people are going to be out doing their summer things, and then we'll be looking at a fall launch, and we do count late August as being like the beginning of the fall season. You've got Labor Day in there that we have to be kind of cognizant of, and give that an extra day or two of space. And then we're full into September. So there we go on that. Hopefully that answered it. While we're taking a break, I do have two winners. These are people who commented on a video the day that it was released. We release videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. And so this week's winner was Michael Skinner. And these were randomly generated numbers that we picked. And the second winner is Jude Walsh. So if Michael Skinner or Jude Walsh is watching this replay, please go ahead and email team@booklaunchers.com and let us know where your address is and what kind of swag you're interested in. And Angela will get back to you with the details, and we'll get that sent out. It is always nice to get one of those little blue bubble packages in the mail. They're always blue, and they are like little sunshine in your mailbox. As an employee, occasionally she drips something into my inbox, and it's like, oh, Angela was thinking of me. It's very nice. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to dive back in, and we are going to look at the next slide, which is on IngramSpark. So IngramSpark is a little bit loosier-goosier than Amazon when it comes to the rules. However, there are still consequences if you break the unknown rules. So I'm going to tell you the rules that I've learned the hard way through working with Ingram, and if you discover a new wrinkle of working with Ingram, please let me know because it's always good to learn things. So you can pre-order up to a year in advance, same as Amazon. You can set up the pre-order on the files detailed page, which is like the second page in at the very, very bottom. They have two windows of what do you want your release date to be. One is like a release date, and the other one says on sale date. Learn this one the hard way. You set them both as the same date. I don't know why they even have two options. If you set the on sale date as like, oh, I want it to be on sale today, and then I want it to release in the future, it'll just release it right away. Like, it makes no sense. So just make those dates identical for in the future. Now, print files are required to start the listing. That's the interior file, and then a cover that fits your book. So that includes the back cover and the spine. So there's a little bit more work that goes into this versus Amazon setting up a KDP pre-order. All you need is that front cover file. And then it does go through a quality control process where they check to make sure that the book looks right. One of the things that people often do that have never submitted the book before to Ingram is that they submit the file as like a spread, like, oh, this is how it's going to look. They're book printers. I'm giving them the whole spread to print at once. And that's not how it works. You have to like put in the individual files like in single page format. And so you learn the hard way when you look at the e-proof, oh, I've done this wrong. So print files, submit them, and then you can move your publication date. However, there is a window leading up to your publication date. And the more pre-orders you have gathered, the the window where you should black out making changes it expands so that they have time to fulfill all the orders. So typically most orders are fulfilled in the 3 weeks leading up to your release date. But if you feel like, oh, I've been seeing my book on the Amazon bestseller list, it seems to be doing really well, they might start fulfilling orders 4 weeks or 5 weeks in advance. So you can move your publication date, but it depends on the timing. Like if you change it after they've already fulfilled some of these orders, then they'll just send them out anyway because Ingram does not, they have a report that says pre-orders report. It doesn't matter how many books you pre-order, that list is always going to say 0. It's like a broken report. It drives me nuts that it exists, but um, it's never going to say anything. So you never have any indication until Ingram prints the books and then slaps a shipping order and a shipping label on it. And at that point, they tell you, oh, you've had a book fulfilled. Congratulations. So that starts like 3 weeks before normally. And then if you've done a lot of sales, then it could be several weeks before that. So typically our books, we just say no changes at all in those last 3 weeks. But Ingram never tells you that. Amazon will say you cannot change your book. It's grayed out. You can't change it. Ingram says, oh yeah, we'll queue it. We'll take whatever changes you want and we'll queue it based on what's already happening. So if those 200 pre-orders are already there for fulfillment and you make a change, it's not going to go through their system until they've done all the other things that are already there on the account. So the orders aren't sent over from their main system to Ingram until for fulfillment until you're within a couple of weeks of publication. So it gets a little confusing. Sorry about that. But it's also good for you to know that that exists because they don't tell you. You just find out the hard way, which is my wisdom I'm conveying to you. And then the final files must be uploaded before they start fulfilling pre-orders. And again, that's a window of time that shifts depending on how good of pre-order selling you're doing. So let's say you have set your book for 8 weeks out and you've submitted your files. What happens next? Well, first, Amazon If you submit your book to KDP, your book will be up. They say 72 hours. It's usually up within 12, but it might not look right for 72 hours. There might be some weirdness of like, oh, the formatting doesn't look right of the book description, or the cover hasn't come in yet. It takes a little while for it to populate out. Um, on Ingram's side, they put your book through a quality control process, and then they generate an e-proof and say, hello, sir, madam, I need you to approve this e-proof. And you get an email. And that takes like 3 business days on the outside. If it's taking that long, usually something's not right in their system, but they don't work weekends. So um, you are usually, I check back in 48 hours after loading to see if the e-proof is ready, and that's just standard for me. Um, Once you look at the e-proof, if you've made this mistake of uploading a spread instead of single pages, it will instantly become obvious that there is something wrong. They're never going to send you an alert that says something is wrong with your file versus Amazon does. So you look at the e-proof and you need to make the decision whether this looks right or not. And then you can order a physical copy of your book and have it shipped to you and be able to open it, read it, and look for errors. You can also check the gloss versus matte setting. If you feel it and you're like, oh, that matte feels weird, I want gloss instead, you can make those changes prior to publication day. And then you can also order a few extra copies and send them out to reviewers and influencers and media opportunities. We always order at least 10 books just for that purpose. And that way you don't have to wait for your publication day or your book to be live to be able to send those books out. And they look brand new. They don't say proof on them like they do when you order them from Amazon. They're nice looking books. Um, While that is going on, um, your listing connects to Amazon. If the metadata matches, like if the book title and your name and the ISBN matches completely, it'll sync with the Kindle listing within a week. Um, if it takes longer, then you're going to need to message Amazon, and they usually just say, "Oh, well, it doesn't match exactly, so we're not going to do anything about it." There's a way on your publication day to get past that, but for your pre-order, um, especially for nonfiction books, send out the paperback link, because that's 90% of who is going to buy the book is paperback versus ebook anyway. And then Barnes& and Noble is going to pick up the listing next. And then usually within 3 weeks is bookshop.org, book depository. So like the UK will start having listings showing up next. And then last but not least, Chapters. And Chapters usually forgets to add the cover, and then you have to message them directly and say, hey, can you add my cover? So there's a lot of back and forth to make sure all of your listings look right when they go out to all of the retailers worldwide. And you end up with a few other ones like Powell's and a couple of Australian distributors as well. It's really cool. Occasionally we'll have a client say, hey, I sold my book to this big publisher and I need to delist my book. Can you help me? And finding all of the places worldwide that the book is available so quickly is just amazing. Anyway, that's my nerding on that. Next up, what do you do while you wait? So you've ordered your print proof, um, and it's going to take 5 days to print, and then however long UPS ships. Um, the printers are on the East Coast, and so like in California, it's like another week before I get the shipment. So I've got 2 solid weeks right there. So what you're doing is you're claiming your Amazon Author Central account. Um, it takes a week for that usually to be approved, so that you've got like your picture and your bio. They go through their own like QC process that you actually are allowed to have that account. And if they don't approve it right away, they won't help you until 8 days have passed. So that's one. Goodreads usually takes about a week of back and forth to get your book loaded and to claim it, and then to start your author account as well. BookBub, um, can take a few extra days. It's not instantaneous. They do a vetting process, depending on if you connected it to your social media or not. Twitter or something like that, then they find you fairly quickly. But it still can take a while for your book to show up. It can take like a week after you say, "Hey, my book's not on your website. Please add it," for them to add it. Other things that you might want to do is to submit your book to review sites. Book Sirens and Book Sprout are two review sites that we have used in the past. There's a few more out there. And a book review site is like early advanced readers for lay people who are interested in reading your book and maybe typing about it on their personal blog or leaving a Goodreads review. They just like to read and are avid readers and then leave reviews, and they help the authors out that way. So those are the kind of reviews that show up in your stars on Amazon, where, when you look something up and it says, this book has 25 reviews. Those are the kinds of people who are leaving those reviews. Now, you can also submit your book, it's a little bit more expensive, to industry reviewers. And that's like NetGalley, where there are librarians, Kirkus, who gives you like a page summary of your book and, will let you blurb that and is very respected. These are ways to get your book respected on an industry level. These are professional publishers and bookstores who are reviewing the books to be able to look for something to stock within their libraries or bookstores. And then you can submit your book for awards if it's coming out in 2023 and you're trying to do a 2023 award. That's a good fit, and it really depends what award on what your niche is. Like, we did a submission for a science book to the Royal Society in the UK. So then sometimes we'll do, like, for an LA author, there's like a Hollywood award. So it really depends on location, where you are. If there's a book award that's just based on where you live, or if there's a niche based on your topic where it would make sense to apply for those things. Now, you can do influencer outreach. Um, it is like the kind of influencer outreach that you do when you're trying to find the person who it will help, their name will help sell your book. So people who are respected in your field. Like if I was going to write a book on real estate, I might want to approach Julie to do a blurb, or Robert Kawasaki if I wanted to go bigger. It takes those people a while to be able to look at your book and decide. And the more like designed up and professional your book is looking, the more likely they are to say yes. So you have a good cover, you've got a good interior layout, your book is set up in a pre-order. Those are factors that they're looking at to decide, yes, they want to look at the book and go ahead and give a blurb to help you. And then next on the list, you can run a Goodreads giveaway. Um, a Goodreads giveaway is Goodreads, by the way, is like this social media network for book nerds. So it's totally my jam. But there's a bunch of people who are looking at the giveaways every day to see what new books are coming out, and they enter to win. And then when they enter to win, that entry ends up in their feed. So all of their friends can see your book, your title, your cover, and go, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to shelve that one too. You can actually run multiple giveaways. So you could run one and then wait a month and then run another one. And it will send an email out to everyone who entered the first time and say something you were interested in is now available for giveaway again, to build more buzz and get more shelves to read, onto the to read shelf. Hope that made sense. And then you have time to rally your book army, get your friends and family and your ideal readers and your colleagues and um, your customers to get early copies of your book, to do that pre-order and buy the book. There's a lot of different ways to do it with incentives of like, oh, show me you've bought the book and you'll get this free, bonus chapter or something like that. You can rally your army to start driving traffic to that page, which helps train the algorithm. You can create a media kit. Once you have the media kit, you can be pitching yourself to media opportunities like podcasts, current events. Haro, which is Help a Reporter Out, is a website of like reporters looking to do a quick story, and say, this is the subject, this is the kind of angle I'm looking for. And people say, oh, I've got the perfect content for you. I wrote the book on XYZ, and I would love to, help you with your story. And then they reach out. It's really cool. And then when you are getting influencers quotes back in, because that always takes a while. Again, these people are busy. You can start adding those editorial reviews to your Amazon listing. And if you're feeling designy creative, you can also add A+ content to your Amazon listing as well. Basically, that's the snapshot I came up with in 5 minutes when I was coming up with these slides. You can do a lot more. It is up to you what you want to do with this time. You just want to use it to promote, promote, promote. Oh, and I have finished the slide. I am so excited. I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and yay. All right. So I think we are ready for some questions. Let's see. While Angela, I think, is curating that, I am going to ask a skill question, harkening back to some of the information I gave, which was Amazon has a very distinct blackout period before publication date where you're not allowed to change the listing. So, how many days or hours is that blackout window? And whoever tells us first is going to win a prize. I see 2 book launcher people out here. Do not answer. I know you know the answers. We want a viewer who's watching closely to supply. Is it how many days or hours? Wow, did I ask too tough of a question? Or does everyone already have swag? Or maybe I'm just delayed versus what the notes are. Ooh, we may have a double winner. All right. I know I pronounced it right earlier. It was Marquesia? No, Marquesa. Marquesa. 72 hours is correct. You are the winner. That is a double winner. If you want double prizes, you can do that, or you can say, I want to put the prize back in for someone else. Either way, totally fine. And question 1, I'm confused. Wouldn't they both, Amazon and Ingram, have the same release date? If so, how is the book an Amazon bestseller? Okay. So, Amazon, so when you load it to KDP, when you release a paperback book, it has to be released instantly. They don't have a pre-order capability. So you can release it as an ebook as a pre-order. And then you use Ingram to fulfill the pre-order or to create the pre-order listing for the paperback book, and it shows up on Amazon. And then the 2 listings go, oh, we have the same name and we're different formats. We're the same thing. And then it joins up and it'll show one book listing, and you can pick Kindle or paperback in the same listing, that it's not separate anymore. Um, on your publication day or anytime after, you can submit your book directly to Amazon as well, as long as you've bought your ISBN through like Bowker and not through Ingram. You can submit it, and what happens is in the background there's some magic that happens over like 24 hours, and the Amazon will start self-fulfilling that same listing going forward. So any orders that were placed during pre-order or up to the point that you load the book will be fulfilled by Ingram, and then Amazon starts self-fulfilling going forward on that Amazon listing. Any orders that are placed where they have printers, which is like in America, the UK, Australia, and a couple of other places. But like places like India would still use distribution through Ingram. So it's fascinating, really, how it all works. All right, next up. Um, would this be good for an illustration book? Yeah, I mean, it's a theory that works for everything. An illustration book. Sorry, I'm running through color issues in my head, but Ingram, depending on how dense the color coverage is, you may end up doing Ingram or Amazon. The premium color gets pretty expensive. So just be careful and really do your research. Occasionally, Ingram will reach out and say, there's too much color density to do um, yeah, a standard color, and that we have to do a premium on a 70-pound paper, and it gets pretty pricey from there. But as long as your ebook is optimized for illustration, that is a level of programming that I don't really do, but just be aware it's a little bit more complicated on both formats to get it right. Um, Influencers. Cassie, you ask the mean questions. So Cassie knows I'm in production and not in marketing, but I can tell you that for influencer quotes, you want a sentence or two, like quick blurbs, um, and that you can fill in about 4,000 characters of content for that. So typically, to fill the entire screen to the max, it's like 10 influencers. But really, it's a numbers game, and any to start with is great. So if you've got one, great, load it. If you've got three, perfect, keep going. Um, Influencers, the more you have, the more impressive you look. Um, and there's multiple places that you can put it, like the Amazon listing, the media kit. I'm not a big fan of inside the book, but if you've got a great quote that you can put on the cover, that can help as well. Just the problem with the inside the book is that someone has to have already bought the book and then opened it to go, oh, all of these people praise the book. It's not a very good sales tool. But for 4,000 characters, not 4,000. Yes, 4,000 characters, not 4,000 words. Yes. So note that it is indeed characters. Yes. Um, so really, it's just a numbers game. And then if you've got a bumper crop, then you get to start picking and choosing. Okay, these 10 are going to be on my media kit, and these 10 are going to be on my Kindle listing, and these 10 are going to be on the paperback listing. And we've had some really big names come through, and the hierarchy of who gets placed where is fascinating. But cover quotes do look amazing. Back covers look amazing as well. They look great in A+ content um, uh, as well. And I just realized I have been talking for like 50 minutes straight. So we have given away all the prizes. In 2 weeks, Julie is going to be back. I'm definitively saying it this time, very happy. And so she'll be bringing the energy and the content, and I'm sure everyone will be happy with that. Um, and I think that's going to be it for today. I hope everyone has a wonderful Tuesday evening, and I'm sure I will see you on some kind of deep dive in the future. Thanks, everyone.